Hallo, guten Tag.
Hallo, guten Tag.
Who are you?
Ich bin Sie.
Exactly, that's what we are going to take a look at today. But first of all, welcome to Now German. Are you ready to learn German right now?
Yes.
All right, let's look at our dialogue. I'm going to begin, and it's my self introduction this time. Ich bin Gregor. Ich komme aus der Schweiz. Ich spreche Deutsch.
Ich bin Sie. Ich komme aus China. Ich spreche Chinesisch.
Yes, very important if you are a new German student, because whoever you meet, you want to let them know who you are. And so maybe one of the most frequent words in German is ich.
Ich.
Yes, that's ich. And then I am is ich bin.
Ich bin.
Yes, ich bin. I am lucky to have a great student. I could also say that with ich bin, but we are just using it together with our names. And then I come from is ich komme aus.
Ich komme aus.
Yes, and aus is a preposition, but don't worry about it now. We'll just learn it as this fixed phrase that is very useful to introduce yourself. Ich komme aus.
Ich komme aus.
Yes, and ich spreche.
Ich spreche.
Yeah, that is I speak. And be careful in German when we have the letters S and P together. We don't say sp like you would in English, but we basically change it into a sh. So it is spreche.
Spreche.
Yes, exactly. And then we have the language that we are learning. What is that?
Deutsch.
Yes, that is Deutsch.
Deutsch.
Yes. And what's your mother tongue in German?
My mother tongue in German.
Yes.
What that?
You
Chinesisch.
can. Yes, exactly. Chinesisch. That is Chinese. Chinesisch. Yes. All right. And we'll look at countries in a second, but first let's go through the dialogue once more. And it's not really dialogue, but let's do it. Ich bin Gregor. Ich komme aus der Schweiz. Ich spreche Deutsch.
Ich bin Sie. Ich komme aus China. Ich spreche Chinesisch.
Yes, exactly. And so this time, let's talk a bit about countries and share some knowledge instead of looking at grammar. And I think it's good to know when you're learning German, you're actually learning one of the most important languages in Europe. And it has over 100 million speakers. Did you know that, Si?
No, that's quite a lot.
Yes, it's the third most spoken language in Europe after English, and then there's also Russian. And if you look at economic performance, actually, the Germany is the third largest economy in the world, and of course, the biggest one in Europe. So this is a really important and relevant language here that you can use a lot. And of course, many people speak it. So great, you're learning it. And it is mostly spoken in 3 countries. The number one of them is, of course, Deutschland.
Deutschland.
Deutschland, yes, that's Germany. And Deutschland is basically made up of 2 words. It's the German land, right? Land is just land. I guess you can see it's almost the same as English. Yes. And then we have Österreich
Österreich.
as Austria. Österreich, yes. And we did another series of 90 lessons from zero where I taught you, and this was one of your favorite words. Do you remember?
Yes.
How about you say it once more? What is Austria in German?
Österreich.
Yeah, now you really figured it out. Yes. But if you want to see her struggle, you can check out her old lessons. Anyways, now you're great. All right. And then we have die Schweiz.
Die Schweiz.
That is Switzerland. And most countries do not have an article in front of them. They just stand alone as in English. But some of them, like die Schweiz, we use them with an article. Die Schweiz.
Die Schweiz.
Yes. Where am I?
Die Schweiz.
Yes, exactly. And then there is another country mentioned in the dialogue, which we don't look at here, but it's where you come from. What country is that?
China,
Yes, exactly. What does that mean in English?
China.
Yes, exactly. It sounds very, very similar. And very often, when we have language, we will just add ish or sich at the end of the word, and then it's the language. Like China becomes Chinesisch. But yeah, just learn them individually. All right, let's look at our dialogue a last time. Ich bin Gregor, ich komme aus der Schweiz, ich spreche Deutsch.
Ich bin Sie. Ich komme aus China. Ich spreche Chinesisch.
Very nice. And one last thing, if you paid very close attention, you will notice that here I said the article is die Schweiz, but in this sentence it says ich komme aus der Schweiz. And that's because of the German case system. I'm not going into detail here. Just remember that sometimes the article might change depending on the context when a word is used. And this is one of the headaches that German learners have to face. But just remember it as a phrase here. And most likely your country doesn't need an article anyways. So focus on learning the relevant words for your context. Yes. And so for this lesson, as every lesson, there is some exercises, but there is one that I also want to show you this time. And so you'll also have to do that, not during the lesson, but afterwards. What you should do as an exercise for this lesson is post your own self-introduction on school.com/nowgerman, which is our community site. And I'll briefly show you how you can do that. So if you go to that link, what you'll find is this Now German website here. And you can just, after becoming a member, which is totally free, you can just click here on write something. And then if you do that, you can just say, for example, hallo. And then we can write a text like we did in our dialogue. For example, ich bin Gregor. And then I'll say next, ich komme aus der Schweiz. And ich spreche Deutsch. Yes, and you can add anything else that you want. For example, already we learned the word tschüss, so I'll just say tschüss at the end, and then I'll send it. And this is a great way to practice and to also interact with other students from Now German and see where they're from and what they're doing. All right, not what they're doing, but you'll at least see the first basics. All right, does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Then that was our lesson about Ich bin. Who are you?
Sie.
Yes. All right. That was lesson 4. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one. Tschüss.
Tschüss.